Welcome to the top 3 must-have mods in Planet Zoo. This is the inevitable video that has always been roaming around the last couple months because you guys asked for it a million times. So we're going to do this. But before we are starting with the video, actually, here are a couple of things to mention. So this list of mods is basically my very personal opinion. I really love to keep the game as vanilla as possible, so we are not going down the rabbit hole of many different animal mods, but I will actually say something about each individual mod and why I think it's a must-have mod in 2023 for Planet Zoo, and why I think it's only going to enhance your game experience no matter which game mode you prefer. Also, which is something very important to note, is you have the freedom of choosing whatever mod you want. There are a million mods out there you can use, but beware, this is fully taking away the support of Frontier, so you do use them on your own risk, at your own risk and whatever, so make sure to keep that in mind before you install any mod. And I will actually explain at the end of the video how to install these mods. So make sure to stick with me for the entire video and we're going to do this together. Let's get started. Number 1 is the inevitable Freebuild mod by Epedemic. This is potentially the most important mod in the game. Before I'm going to actually show off what it is capable of, just a little explanation. This mod basically gets rid of any kind of limitations that still exist in the game. As we all know, Planet Zoo is a game that has already quite a huge freedom in terms of creativity, but especially around path and terrain editing, there is a bit of limitation in the game. This mod basically gets rid of all these limitations, except one, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But as you can tell with the path in the middle, you get a lot more chances to edit the path. But even better than that, you can even edit the terrain after you have done the path. Look at that. And this is the single most asked question I get from you guys in my comments. How the hell am I able to edit the path after I've put it down? Well, actually, this is actually possible because I'm using the Freebuild mod. As you can see to the bottom right here in my menu, there is Freebuild enabled. If I disable that and I do the same again with the terrain editing, as you can tell, it still works because I basically have the shortcut activated. This is just to show you if you have it enabled or not. Now, actually, without the Freebuild mod, you can't do that. Let me just quickly show this to you. Going back into the terrain mode, now I disabled that by pressing the Z button on my keyboard. It will be the Y button for you because I got a German keyboard. And if I press now anything, you can see, actually, this is, whatever I do, it doesn't work. If I hold down the key again, you can see it edits with me. I can also go here and just place, everything just like flattened again. There you go. Important bit is you hold down the key. I'm not going to give you a full tour of Freebuild. I'm just saying that this is the single most important mod to have. If you want to have a full rundown, I highly recommend checking out the video of Kai. I'm going to link it down below in the description so you guys can check it out. But now let's move over to the next one after I've shown you the one limitation that still exists, and that is water. Because one thing you can't do is you can't still edit the terrain around water. This is basically because of the way water works with the volumetric water and diveable area. You just can't manipulate that on the go. But other than that, Freebuild works like a charm nowadays. The only exception is the brand new diorama mode, in which you will have to be a bit more careful with the usage of it. But just to mention a couple more examples, you can move up and down the barriers of your various habitats, including the water viewing areas, how much you like, so you can finally have a perfectly infinity pool kind of edge as you like it. And this is just absolutely pure brilliance. Anyways, let's move on to the second one. Alright, for the second mod, we have to go into the animal trading and then into the basically buy menu. As you can see, my god, there are a lot of albino animals in here, aren't there? And different versions. Look at that one. I haven't seen an elephant like that in a while. Now, actually, what this mod does, and I'm going to quickly show this to you guys, is also, do we have a habitat where I can place you real quick? Yeah, let's go into that big one over here. So this mod is more morphs, and with this mod you can actually have in sandbox mode a lot more color variants. This does work for other habitats as well, but other modes as well. But the most important one obviously is Sandbox, because you know how much of a pain it is to get a color variant in Sandbox mode. It's a lot more easy in challenge and in franchise, because you can breed whatever you want, and in franchise you can even buy it. But in here you can even change the values. There's a config file that gets delivered with the mod, or you can actually just download the base file, which you can set it to medium or a lot of different morphs. And then, as you can tell, there are a lot of different color morphs in here. You can just go through, and for example, if you do encounter something that hasn't any morphs, so for example like the Amer leopard, let's just actually do this real quick. Amer leopard, you can tell I'm just going to adopt all of those real quick so we can refresh the list. This one is expired anyways, so refreshing the list actually gives us the chance to look at it. There you go, we can't adopt that one. What is going on? Why do I even have the conservation credits turned on? I'm not even sure why I do have that turned on. Anyways, yeah, but normally you have a higher chance now to get to a logistic one or an albino one, which you don't have for the Amer leopard, by the way. But this mod just gives you the chance. Let me just try that for one of the tigers. Let's go for the Bengal tiger. Obviously we don't have one. This is just a showcase effect, but you can see it here in the full list. If we click it through, we can just go to the next side, or next page I should say. You can see that there are a lot of different versions of different animals that come with more of the variants. Look at the capybaras. They have a lot of things. Oh, look at that. We've got a black caracal. How cool is that one? I haven't even seen that one. Let's put that real quick in. So there we have it, and oh my god, this one actually looks pretty beautiful. Let me just quickly show this to you guys in its full glory. Oh my god, that one looks absolutely fantastic. Also, we do have the elephant over here in the albino treat, as you can see. Yeah, it's super simple to get these, a lot quicker, will make your life a lot more easy, and yeah, just in general, it is a huge help when it comes to the game. But now let's move on to the third one, and it's equally important. Now let's go over there. Alright, the third one is a bit of a special. This is the Lion Remaster. Also, I'm going to put all the different creators and mods in the links down below, so you can download them yourself, and full credit goes to those who did it. But now, before we go to the lion and look at it in its full glory, I'm going to quickly explain why this is in my top 3 mods and why it is the single or the sole animal mod I have in here. So the lion is somewhat of the hero animal of Planet Zoo. If you remember the first artwork, or even the title artwork with the finished game, the lion is the central animal. It stands for the zoo game, it stands for zoos, it stands for the wildlife, it stands for everything that is in the game. And the lion, the original lion in the game, unfortunately lacks everything that it should. It just kind of didn't age well, because the game evolved. The animal quality that Frontier brought out just evolved quite dramatically, while this lioness is pooping right in front of us. That's not how a lady behaves. So basically they have done such a stellar job with the newer cats, especially with some big cats, especially with the lynx or the caracal you just saw. It is a little bit of a, pity how much the lion lacks in quality in terms of how realistic it looks. And this is why this mod, for me personally, is a must-have, because having a lion in your zoo is a must-have. And having a lion that looks so outdated is not really cool. So that way you can get a very cool revamp of the animal without actually having to replace it with a different animal. So that is really cool. And now let's get a little bit closer to that beautiful remaster. Now there we go, we are up close now with the lioness, first of all in front of us over here, and we can just have a little glimpse at her. So look at every little detail. The lion looks so much more realistic, so much more actually dangerous. It's really taken away the cartooniness of the animal and just adding a huge layer of realism. Also how the fur is kind of shaded. It's not like about the fur itself. I think they did tweak the fur shade a little bit to make it a bit more shorter, but I can't really judge if it is actually the fur being shorter or if it's just the shading and the texturing, but it just looks phenomenal. But now, before I go on, let me just check out where our big male is. I'm not sure. There you go, there's the big male. Let's just keep the game on play mode and zoom in. There you go. Look at the quality of that animal. It just looks fantastic. I think, personally, this is one of the best changes in the game in general done by a mod, and it is something that doesn't take away from the overall quality of the game, but it just adds something that is so important, and it just doesn't feel off. But yeah, so these are my 3 mods that I would recommend to download. But now, let me just give you a little conclusion to why I think that these are the 3 top mods you should have, and also a little note at the end of the video. Alright, so I showcased 3 mods, and I called these my top 3 mods for a very, very important reason. As I said at the beginning of the video, I love my games quite vanilla, you know. I try to also use, when in the times where I was playing Cities Skylines, I always try to use mods that enhance the original game rather than taking the fun out of it. Surely there are a lot of different mods that will give you access to a lot of tweaking when it comes to the traversable area, when it comes to the required area for animals, the diveable area, and so on and so forth. I am personally not the biggest fan of it, because I think there is a reason why the game does certain things the way it does it, and it sometimes takes away the challenge that the game intentionally gives you. However, there are a couple of things which don't really feel like a challenge at all. They just feel like a nasty thing in the game that keeps you putting time into it without a further effect. For example, with the color morphs in Sandbox mode. I mean, we are already playing Sandbox mode. We have eternal, you know, financial possibilities, and then we have to just spend 1 trillion hours to get our desired color morphs. That's just something that really feels off to me, and I wouldn't feel bad having a solution to that. So Frontier, if you're listening, why not just giving that to us? But also the lion mod. I think I talked about this enough while I was presenting this to you. I think this is the single animal mod that is 100% required to have, because this one is just so much better than the original lion in the game is. Every other animal mod is brilliant, and also the new animals that are added to the game are brilliant, but they are not as much as an improvement to the original animal, in my personal opinion, that it is enough to take away from Frontier's brilliant animals, because Frontier's animals still always outdo the mods in terms of how well everything works together, just because it is the actual animal from the game and how it's intended to be, and with the fur shader and stuff like that. But the lion mod is just so close to perfection that it makes a lot of sense to have that one in. And last but not least, Freebuild. I mean, do I need to say anything else than that this is potentially actually not potentially. Freebuild for me is the equivalent to Move It in Cities Skylines. If any one of you has already played Cities Skylines in the past, you know how much of a bold claim that is. But I personally think Freebuild has become the Move It of Planet Zoo, and it will remain exactly that. So I hope this was helpful for you, and as promised, I'm going to quickly showcase now how you can install these mods. Alright, first things first, you go to the website nexusmods.com/planetzoo/mods. In this category, you will find all the mods related to Planet Zoo. You can also go one category back, but then it will just give you an overview of hot mods and so on and so forth. I would always go like straight into the category, because then you can sort them by endorsement, by time uploaded, and so on and so forth. Or you can check the author, and you know, because credit is due to those who deserve, you can actually see that the different mods we have over here. So the more Sandbox color morphs, as you can see, has been uploaded on the 11th of December. Last time updated was 2022, so October 2022, and it has been done by the Challenger of the Dark. This is brilliant because Challenger of the Dark has done some amazing stuff already, and you can also see that we have a mod that is called the Axie mod. Now, actually, this one from Dev is basically, or from Open Ninja, I should say, it's basically a little tool you have to put into your folders in order to make these other mods run. It's basically just kind of a bridge that gives you access to certain files in the game. Nothing that you see, but you have to download that one and put it into a dedicated folder. I'm going to show you in a second. Now, the only thing you do then is, and we do go to Havoc's beautiful lion remaster. You just click on that one, and once you're on the overview page, you get some information. You can scroll down. There's another explanation how you do work with the mods. There's other credit to other people who have done certain things to contribute to the mod. And then over here, you've got a download button. but you're gonna have to make yourself an account first on Nexus Mod. Don't worry, it's for free. You don't need to pay anything. You can just create an account, then you go to manual download. It does tell you that you need to download Axie. I did do this already, so we can skip that and just click download. In terms of making sure if you have it, you can just click it real quick and just double check it. I do have it, so I click download, and once I have done it, it brings me to that page on which you can say slow download, and you're gonna download the file just as you can imagine. Now, once you've downloaded your mod, it will come as a little zip file, which you can open either with your zip file tool of your choice or WinRAR, for example, and then you're greeted by actually this over here. There's just one folder in there that you have to put somewhere. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep this window for a second, and then you will move into your Planet Zoo game folder. So we see each other once I've opened that one. Now, once you're in the folder, and it's important to note that this is different for every single one of you, what you have to keep in mind is that where do you have put your Steam library. So you gotta go to your Steam library, Steam apps, common, Planet Zoo, and once you're in, there are several folders you can navigate. What is interesting for us is going to the Win64 folder. You're gonna go into that one, and in that one, there is another folder that is called the OVL data. This one is going to be open as well, and once you're in here, things become very simple. As you can see, I've got Axie already in here, and I also have the Kai Cord General, which is the one you will need for Freebuild, but it's going to be delivered once you download the Freebuild mod. And then you just have to do the following. You just take the mod and just drag it into here. Now, it will ask me if I want to replace that, obviously, because I have the mod already installed. I'm just going to write over it. It doesn't really matter. And once it's done that, it's in your folder, and it's done. The mod is installed. How cool is that, right? Anyhows, this is it, guys. I really hope you found this very helpful, interesting, and it will hopefully make your game experience better. One last disclaimer on the video. Again, if you want to install mods, it's totally fine. However, full support of Frontier is gone for you. So if in case you are running on mods and you've got a problem with the game, don't expect Frontier to help you, because basically modding is changing the base code of their game, so it's not their product anymore that they need to take care of. Just beware of the fact. However, one thing I can tell you, these mods do run very stable. They don't really change core data of the game. In fact, they don't really touch them because we only put them into their folders. If you don't want to use these mods anymore, you can just take all the different folders you've put in here, delete them, and the game is clean again. So it's very simple, nothing is going to be broken, and it's a very handy thing to have these mods at hand. So let me know in the comments down below what is your favorite mod in case you ever used one, or maybe you're a person like I was for a long time who tries to avoid as much as possible mods because you want to stick to vanilla as much as possible, which again, I'm a very big fan of, but that doesn't mean you can't just use a million different very good mods that are out there. So I talk to you next one. Make sure to have a good day. Make sure to stay safe, and yeah, just hopefully see you next one.